Welcome to Squatchin Holler.
In the mist where the trees lean low, Squatchin Holler's got a tale to show. Whispers creep like a creature's faint howl. Every shadow's got a secret to growl. Monsters rise where the stories are told. Squatchin Holler where the legends are born. Are they here? Are they gone? Who can say? In the holler, the truth just slips away. Huge footprints fade where the creek runs thin. A lantern sways, let the search begin. Rustling leaves, but there's no one near. Is it the wind or the beast you fear? Every echo's a question, every rustle's a clue. Squatchin Holler's got its eyes on you. Monsters rise where the stories are torn. Squatchin Holler where the legends are born. Are they here? Are they gone? Who can say?
And now your hosts welcome you to Squatchin Holler, Roger Williams and Amanda Stowers. Remember, this podcast can be downloaded everywhere great podcasts are found. And now the show.
Hey, we're live. Hey, everybody. Thank you for being here again. Moderators, everybody in chat, thank y'all. I try not to look at chat, y'all. We're doing the show. Y'all know why I get tickled and I'll be, won't be able to say anything. But anyway, which is rare. So tonight, Amanda's doing a presentation in Georgia. She's been doing that some, and she does a great job at it. So she sent me some pictures from the venue. And she got a really cool setup. So tonight, Bama Murdock's filling in. Y'all love Bama. Bama's cool. We got Adam Colt. This should be a fun show. He's the tech guy, and he saved her in one night at the LBL, for the live. And I had this big idea to go live at the LBL, and I couldn't find any signal. So Adam had Starlink, and set it up in about 5 minutes, and we're on live. So anyway, we're gonna bring the guys in, and Bama's gonna be co-hosting, but he's got a lot of questions, so I'm gonna turn him loose too. And then Adam, I never know what to expect with him, so we'll just bring him in. Hey guys.
Hey guys.
What up?
Can Bama hear us? What's up,
Oh,
Bama?
yeah.
Thank you. Thank y'all for being here. It's every show's fun, but it's they're all different too. And Bama and I got to know each other and just kind of accidentally. And Adam, same way, showed up down here one day. And everybody gets along because we're in this for the same reasons. We're learning, we're trying to learn, we're trying to learn the truth, and sometimes we get our feelings hurt. We figure out something's not what we thought it was, and that's okay. And I'm not too proud to say, I'm misidentified something. And I think these guys right here are the same way.
Oh yeah. Many times I've had to debunk myself.
Anyway,
Yeah, I'm looking at chat. Hey, everybody in chat. I always say that.
I know Bama.
What's that?
Yeah, they make it worth being here. It's just the people in chat are amazing. Some great questions come from chat. So I guess we can start. I'm gonna ask Bama's question because I know what he usually asks. But Adam, what got you into this subject? I mean, because is it something that's always been in the back of your mind, or did something happen to you?
Well, I grew up in Colorado. You guys can hear me, right?
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, good. Um,
Yep, we're good.
well, before we start, let me say, Bama, so good to see you again. LBL was awesome. Really nice meeting you down there.
Good to
Roger,
see you
thanks
too.
for having me on. It's fun to be on the show. So I grew up in Colorado and in a small little town, and climbed the mountains every day. I was fit little mountain goat kid, and I saw a UFO when I was a kid. So right away, I was like hooked. Like, what was that thing in the sky? And then
Right.
we lived in a ghost town. I'm serious. Like, it's called a ghost town, and many of the houses in town were haunted, including mine. And I did get to see one ghost one time. And they were constantly messing with the kitchen and pots and pans and stuff like that all the time. But I finally got to see one. So right away, as a young kid, I believed in ghosts and I believed in UFOs and aliens. And so I went out to the movie theater and I saw this video on UFOs, aliens, and of course they put Bigfoot in there too. And that was probably in the late 70s. And they showed the original, unstabilized Patterson footage in the movie. And so I was aware of Bigfoot, but I really wasn't into Bigfoot. And then my kid came home from school, got me into Bigfoot because he was all into Loch Ness Monster. And I'm like, well, I can't afford to take you to Scotland, but what do we have in the United States that we can go hunting for? So I got into Bigfoot early on, but I was an armchair researcher, a keyboard warrior. You know what I'm saying? I really didn't do anything until 2021. My wife and I went hiking and we found some tracks. And it was a juvenile and probably the mama bear, hanging out, and they had toes. And the interesting thing about being in Minnesota is it's cold and we have snow, and it was early in the season, so there was a lot of snow on the ground. So why would anybody, especially a kid, be walking around the woods barefoot with snow on the ground?
Exactly.
It just doesn't happen. So
A lot of us have experienced that. You see something, you see tracks, and you're immediate or like, it's too cold out here. Why would anybody be running around barefoot in this type of weather? And it's just that's probably more rare than Bigfoot tracks, because we're sissies as a people. Nobody does that. I mean, if it's around the house, maybe, but out in these places that Bama goes and you go, it's just, it doesn't make sense. And and I think we talk about things like that and we just kind of skim over it, like, no, that's a very important fact.
Well,
it's Bama knows. You go to a scene and you see every clue is big, I would think. So I don't know, why do we do that, y'all think? Why don't we skim over, like, I try to bring attention to the small details when I hear them, but a lot of people just, that, especially the fence setters, you know what I mean? They're like, they don't mean anything. But why do y'all think we do that?
Go ahead, Bama.
It's funny you're talking about that. The Reed Noble trackway, for example, the first thing that was ever found was Shelley Reed found these little small footprints, but they were really deep in the mud. Now, it wasn't cold or that inclement weather or anything along that line, but every single one of us looked at the tracks where we originally saw them at starting, and everybody said the same thing. Who would let a kid walk around out there? Because there's fish hooks out in that water. There's maybe broken glass out there. So that just, that's just popped in our head.
And exactly, that's what popped in my head 3 years later when I found the trackway, was who would be out here walking barefoot? Now, the small detail with y'all's case, Bama, is it was on the other side. Right. So they had to walk barefooted at least from that other parking lot. That's a long walk.
Yeah, they had to walk from the worst place you could walk barefooted, at the bottom of a boat ramp in the mud. Everything bad that's in the water falls out at the boat ramp, in the water.
Right.
But anyway, I want to throw that in there.
No,
it's a good point.
It's I'm wired different, I guess. Because I still freak out on how a record player works. So
that's another reason why I got into this, because I meet so many great people like you, but I'm a tech head, so I love to bring technology to the woods and to this quest.
And I want to say this to everybody listening. I always tell Roger and everybody, I kind of do podcasts for people that are riding in their cars listening, or maybe with their headphones in at night in bed, because I ain't nothing to look at. But before we started the show, y'all, we're talking to Adam. He's like, hey, I'm going to send you this such and such, and, I'm going to send you this. And he starts talking all this technical jargon and all this stuff like that. And I said, Adam, dude, you start getting too technical. I said, we're going to freaking boot you. And I don't know what. I said, we'll just start yakking. I said, we'll get dang Greg House on the show in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And yak with Greg. So, but anyway.
But I know he's joking, and I am too, because the thing is, I always talk about building teams, and you need people with different experiences, and Adam what he brings to the table is a lot of stuff, and I just I get, when people, he said he was like a couch type researcher, and that all of that's important though. It's just I don't.
Well, Roger, when I mean I was a couch researcher, I was just watching Bigfoot shows. I wasn't really doing much. And what's really funny is my wife looked over at me and said, you're not going to find Bigfoot sitting on the couch. And that's what got me out in the woods.
There you go. Well, see, instead she's an important part of your team then. She booted you out into the woods. So, I mean, so what happened? You found tracks, and then I guess, when you actually find real evidence, and people can scoff at it or whatever, but you've already tried to debunk it in your mind, and you're looking at the evidence. Did it do you like it does a lot of? Is it light a fire in you?
For me, I was already a true believer because of the Patterson footage.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just pointing it out to my wife, and I was trying to explain to her, why would any mom let their kid run around right now in 20-degree weather with no shoes on? And she kind of got it, but she's still kind of a skeptic, which is really funny because she's heard so many things and been around me for so long. She's not buying into it till she actually meets one. So,
yeah, I understand that.
I get it too. And I don't push that on anybody, including my wife. So,
right. And Heather, she's experienced. That's something else we kind of skim over. I told her one day, I said, I know you haven't seen one, but you've had so many B and C encounters types that it's almost hard to talk about, because there's people that won't believe it, but she knows. She's been with me. My son's been with me, and it's to the point now where to her, it's not surprising. Every time I find something or hear something or whatever, it's surprising to me, because I know how rare it is. It's a privilege to, or it's like scoring a touchdown in the Super Bowl, finding a track. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, that's how rare they are.
Rare.
Yeah, tracks are rare. I will say this though, you made me do homework today, Roger. I sat down and started listing all the things that I've done in the last 5 years. And I didn't realize this, but I've been on 25 expeditions in the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I mean, I've been off the couch. So
Adam, that southern trip that you took, there were people would pay big money to go the place. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
That was pretty amazing.
Listen, I have an outline this covering that. So just get ready for it. You know,
Yeah.
just I have a bunch of questions about all that.
And what I'll do is I'll start with, you know, Adam and I meeting, and then Bama, I'll let you tear into your question. So y'all, there's a lot. I don't know if we can get it all in tonight, but Adam's right. I mean, you follow him on Facebook and you're like, where the hell is he at now? It's like, this is cool. So I like to see that, because I know, you know, you've been to places like problem areas where people have called you to go to. You had a pretty terrifying experience here a while back.
Yep.
And Adam experiences the technical glitches when these things are supposedly around too. So it's something to that. I don't know what it is, but
I don't know what it is either anymore.
well, that'd be a good question. Yeah. So from seeing the film and believing, and then you got the tracks, and then what the things you've done since 2020, has your idea or theories or changed on these things? What do you think we're dealing with, or could it be multiple things?
Well, like I've said in previous podcasts, I've always tried to just stick to the flesh and blood camp, right? And not because I don't believe the woo camp. Are we calling it woo or high strangeness?
Whatever, it don't matter. If a troll jumps in here, we're gonna boot him anyway. So
I would call it high strangeness at this point. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So the high strangeness camp is something I've tried to stay away from, because if we're out in the woods and we're chasing an invisible portal hopping extraterrestrial, I'm never going to catch it. I don't have a chance.
Yeah.
Right. So I got to say, you know what? I think this is just a big flesh and blood creature. It leaves tracks. It leaves blood. We've got blood samples. It leaves feces. It leaves hair. It leaves all this stuff. So we know that it's physical in form. Right. But what else do we know? I don't know. So I do have an open mind, especially after what happened to me in New York, which we can get into a little bit too.
Okay.
But yeah, now I have to definitely join the high strangeness camp more after New York.
It's hard not to at least listen, because same thing happened to me as happened to you. Lived in a haunted house early on, saw a UFO at 17. So for me to have a closed mind would be hypocritical, but I'm not. I just tell everybody, I don't know either. I don't know yet. I'm not going to link anything together. Right. And I know Bama doesn't either. It's like, but you know, you keep it on a shelf over here just in case. But so yeah, go ahead and
I think
wherever you want to start.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment before we start here too. I think what drives me a little nuts sometimes about researchers is when you're just standing there talking to them and they're just guessing. They're like, this is where they do their ceremonies. How do you know that? Did you see a ceremony? Right? Well, yeah, it looks cool. It might be a place for ceremonies, but how do you know that? So I like to stick with just the more simple facts, like, oh, there's a footprint, there's a track here, you know, that kind of deal. So the other cool thing is that I was talking to Chris earlier today, and I want to make sure that everyone out there knows that I'm not one of these guys who wants to come to your place and take it over and steal your research and whatever else like that. I'm just there to help you out. If you want me to help you put up some cameras or some better microphones or install a Starlink or whatever, that's what I'm there for. And if I get to see a Bigfoot on your property, hell yeah, that's what I'm out there for. You know? Right. So I guess there's a thing going around in certain communities that people are like being all weird about. Oh, I don't want to have him at my site. He's going to take my stuff. So,
yeah, well, you know, the side of it I understand is people not wanting them stirred up, and then you leaving, and maybe wanting to protect them a little bit. But other than the rest of it, you can. If the people that are researching or have the right attitude and the right goals, you know, you shouldn't have to worry about that. Right. And I know y'all have some ideas that in 2019, if I'd have said it around a campfire with you and Chris Reinhardt, I mean, like, what in the world? But now now after doing what we've done, I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea. But so you wanna get into a little bit of the southern trip a little bit in Bama. You
Oh
can,
yeah. I
yeah.
mean, just getting off the couch and, talking with Doug and getting to meet people has been the most amazing thing in the last 5 years. And it's like every time you go somewhere, you meet somebody new. And so they're like, hey, come to my spot. Hey, do this, hang out with me, or you should get to know blah, blah, blah. And so that's led me to everything. So Doug invited me to go to Snell Grove after my 30 days in the woods, which was awesome. And that's where I met Chris, and Chris introduced me to Greg, and we got to go on the Southern tour. So it's like I get to meet all these wonderful people. And you're right, I have been to places that people would pay to be, I've been up to Banff, and I've been out to, the Radium site. I have been to Flat Rock site. I've been to this, the Pennsylvania site. I've been all over the place. The one place I haven't gone yet, which was a trip we scheduled last year that got canceled, was the Bluff Creek site. So I'm going to go there probably next year, I hope. But yeah, so I'm planning on hitting all the big major sites, and hopefully even next year go down to Texas and see the Cells site as well. So
well, I'm post plenty of pictures, because a lot of us that can't do that kind of live through you a little bit. So
all right, I'll have to get on
it
it more. Yeah. I'm not looking for attention, so I very rarely post. That's the first time I went live on Facebook in a long time, and I'm just like, okay, there are people watching. Maybe I should go live more often.
Well, he texted me, and he was camping at the LBL by himself, and I said, "Are you nuts?" Bama, shut up. You don't count. I know you do
I
it
do
all
it
the time.
all the time.
Oh, I know you're nuts. I was just figuring out, Adam. No, I don't know, y'all. It's different. I don't know why. I just have some places at the LBL I feel fine, and other places I'm real nervous about. So yeah. And that night that we had whatever it was that was big and breathing congestively 3 foot from my tent, that kind of, I had my dog and my wife with me, and it changes things. And I'm like, y'all, I knew this was an active place, but I didn't know they was gonna come up and get my left pocket. It's like, what the hell? So, but I don't know what it was, but it was very big. And later the next morning, I think Billy Schilling and some of them, Gary Spikes and all them, found a big track and a gravel bar in the dry creek behind us. So, and that's the way it went. So I don't know what it was, but it wasn't nothing I wanted to tangle with after midnight, in a tent zipped up.
That is one thing about being alone, is you don't have to care for others. So that is kind of a nice thing. Like if I'm going to die, it's just going to be me. And if it's, and if I die, hopefully somebody will get it on camera, and maybe even me, I don't know, live stream it. I don't know.
Well, that's a real thing, Adam.
Yeah.
When I had, I got in a situation, I made the decision when I turned my back to walk out slowly. I kept my phone recording for that reason.
Yeah.
If whatever this is gets me, at least maybe they'll have a record of it.
Yeah.
And that's a terrible, terrible feeling.
Yeah.
but it I don't know why some of us think that way, but I did. I thought I was recording, but anyway. So all right, we can. So I'll just tell. Y'all came down. You and Chris came down, and Bud, and I met you at the man cave.
Yeah.
And of course, Chris, I met him for the first time face to face, and it's just, I don't know what it is about this group. I mean, including you and all the rest of the people. Everybody just kind of. It's instant connections, and I don't know whether it's the experiences that everybody's had, and that that they're real.
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of it, but and then I think we went down to Kumbo's, and Chris and I were looking out the back door at the fields. We I know y'all are over there listening to audio and everything, but Chris and I, we were just watching, and really wasn't talking, but we were doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, just tell us a little bit about that, Bama. I'm gonna step back and let you do your thing. So you're so good at it.
All right.
here's what's interesting. And Chris and I text, back and forth occasionally. A while back, and I'll be brief with this. Chris is a really good graphic designer, and some people know that, some people don't. But he designed my logo for my YouTube slingshotting channel, and so he made all my stickers and stuff. My graphic design for my slingshot stickers I hand out that kids and stuff. And so I knew that y'all were making this sweep down through Alabama. And see, Greg lives just up the road from me here. So I had started texting, and I was looking at the text today to Chris. And I'm like, man, we need to go camping. And he's like, well, we're just kind of going through because, Greg is in Bankhead National Forest, the land of 1,000 waterfalls. I mean, and I told Chris, I go, you have to go hiking. You have to understand what this looks like down in there. Otherwise, you're just looking at pine trees and stuff. So I wanted to ask you a bit this about Greg's place, while I had the chance to, because I've been there. Lots of other people have been there. Hearing all the stories about it from people and stuff. You get an image in your mind. I ask everybody this. You get an image in your mind as to what Greg's man cave looks like on the outside and the surrounding area. You do. You get when people start telling stories about it, you start getting in your brain, you get an idea as to what it looks like around it, don't you?
Yep.
I really want to know what you thought when you first went up there. And just, kind of how it went while you were there. I didn't have any.
I'm laughing because Greg is going to kick out of what I'm going to say next. So.
Yeah. I mean, I always say I didn't hear or see anything, but, and I like to sit around a fire at night and just kind of listen to the night stuff. I mean, I'm kind of a loner, and I wouldn't sit out on that back porch by myself. I mean, Roger always laughs, but
I agree.
No, Roger laughs because he's been there to the place.
Yeah.
And I told Greg, I said, man, I wouldn't sit at that corner of that porch for nothing. And I go, and I don't know why I haven't heard or seen anything, and we're pretty, well armed. But anyway, what'd you think when you got up there?
Well, it was hilarious because I didn't know Roger. I didn't know Greg. I didn't know Kumbo. I didn't know anybody. Right?
Oh my God.
I never even heard of any of these people.
Oh,
I never
Lord.
followed them, never watched them on YouTube. And the first thing I do is I'm driving down to, Alabama from Minnesota. So I got the longest drive of the three of us. And those two yahoos, Chris and Bud, are basically saying, let's just drive straight through. And I'm like, dude, you guys, I've been driving 20 hours already and you're going to make me drive more? Like, you told us we were going to stop. And they're like, so we ended up stopping at a Buc-ee's, which was really fun. And I ended up drinking a coffee and I had a 5-hour energy shot. And it was just, I don't normally drink coffee or 5-hour energy. So by the time I got to Greg's place, I was buzzing. I was just like, wow. And I walked into Greg's man cave, and you've been there. It's amazing. And I just walked in. I was like a kid in a candy shop. I'm like, what? Who is this guy? Why does he got all this cool stuff? It's like, what's going on here? And the funny part is, I was looking around to see if there was any signs of female habitation, right? And I'm like, okay, this is a bachelor pad. This is 100% a bachelor pad.
Yeah.
And then I just got it in my mind that Greg wasn't married. And and so later on, it's like, you have a wife? What? And I'm like, where does she live? And then he goes, oh, I have a house on the other side. I didn't realize that was his man cave playroom. Yeah. I thought he lived there. I thought he was the wild man that inhabited that space. And
that's not far from the truth. I mean,
it's not. When you meet him, he's just like, I got guns and I'm like, I hunt, and I'm like, I've never hunted. I got a couple guns, but I barely know how to clean them, So anyways, Greg tells these stories about the most amazing stories I've ever heard, you know? And I'm just like, wow, you've had all these experiences. And he goes, yeah, half of them are right off the back porch. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So we all decided to go sit out there and just hang out and see what happens. I think at that place we did actually see some shadows moving around in the woods, but nothing growled, nothing, you know, it was intimidating, and it wasn't that scary. Now, when I was at LBL, something growled at me from the dark, and I was alone basically because I was sleeping in the middle of the camp after everybody left. And you would not see a fat person jump so fast and so high. I jumped back into my car so fast, slammed the door, and I'm just like, okay, please don't break in.
Well,
I do
after everybody left, I don't know who all talked about it.
Yeah.
But there were a few of you left, and I think Pat and Joe, I think something stepped on his step and moved his cooler, moved a chair off the cooler and pitched it to the side and looked in the cooler.
Yep.
And so I don't know how many people that were there know some stuff happened after we all left, but it did.
Yep.
I think the only reason that I don't get it, because I camp far away from everybody over in a nook on a creek.
You did.
That's where I always camp at. And I had a couple people over there with me. But this time I've had an encounter with a big cat over there a couple of times, coming around the tent. I think the reason they leave me alone is because I have trail cams and trip wires set up all the way. I do have trip wires that go like 22 round, blanks. And, but really the game cam, the videos and stuff, I think keeps them away from my camp.
Yeah.
Most people are like, oh, I would like to, man, I don't want them coming in my camp. These are LBL boogers. They're just a whole different, they're a whole different thing.
Well, and for clarity, the people that don't know, one almost stepped on your head in your tent one night. So that's a little too close. That's what I'm saying. I was 3 foot away from whatever this was, and it was big. Yeah. And he didn't care that we knew it was there. It wasn't trying to be quiet. So after that happened, people make fun of me like, Roger won't sleep in the tent. I'm like, well, I'll stay here with you. It gets around midnight. I'm headed to a cabin somewhere, and I still ain't comfortable. There was one place we stayed. I had seen the white wolf and whatever that black thing was on the side of the road. It was massive on the way. I saw one right after another. And Heather, we got back to the cabin, and she come out of the bathroom. And she said, "Why are the lights on outside?" I said, "Because I want them on." It's not going to help anything, but it just made me feel a little better,
But what'd you think about it? Like just look, anybody that walks inside Greg's man cave, there's just so much stuff and artifacts and stuff hanging on the wall. It's like you've walked into like a mini, museum. But what about like around it? I mean, tell me, because once you get up that treacherous road going up the hill, because this is inside the Bankhead National Forest.
Yeah. Being a jeeper in Colorado, I've been up roads that are way worse than that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
You're hanging off the edge of a cliff looking down 1,000 feet. That sucks a lot. But so that road didn't scare me at all. But you're right, it's remote. He tucked himself back in the woods right there, and it's really cool how a lot of these sites. And my wife gives me shit all the time. She's like, "You're going to go camp in somebody's backyard?" I'm like, "Yeah, the boogers are there. That's all I have to do is camp in the backyard,
Yeah.
But some of these places are kind of just on the outside of rural life, One of the sites in New York that was blowing my mind was like 20 minutes from an Applebee's, So,
hey, now we're going to talk about that New York thing. I wanted to talk about that last because I think that's your most recent thing, isn't it? Yeah, I want to do that one last. But I was wondering up at Greg's, because when you go out on Greg's back porch, you're basically looking down a sloping hill, and then it drops off into your typical Alabama holler. And it's lush and deep, and it goes right off into a creek that comes from inside the Sipsey river basin and inside Bankhead Forest, off the back. So if you're standing off the back just looking out, you're just looking into nothing for a lot of acres over there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you see, most people think, oh, man, I'm going to go over there and walk around and I'm going to go explore and I'm going to see stuff. And the thing is, there's really not that much walkable area right around it, because when you walk off the back, if you say, I'm going to go down to the creek, you don't just walk straight down that hollow down there. I mean, you can't. It's too steep, down there.
Yeah. And we, I don't know, my dad calls it bushwhacking. When you go off the trail, you're bushwhacking.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that the woods are just filled with trails. Yeah, we got some game trails here and there, but it's not like, like you can't even go walking around at Snell Grove, because you try to walk around it and the moss is like 8 inches deep. It's like walking on a what are they, a bouncy house with kids. And except for underneath all the moss, there's sticks and dead trees and you're tripping on everything. So it's like every step you take is a planned step, so you're not just walking through the woods. You're like, where can I put my foot safely?
Right. Yeah. And I've had a many times in my 55 years, I walk a lot more careful now, because with the ground clutter with leaves, you can step on one stone and you're 20 foot down the hill, up against a tree.
Yeah.
And it can happen quick.
Yes.
So you have to be, and I didn't know this. I was moving some stuff around at Greg's and he's like, hey, watch out. We have scorpions. And he's naming off this stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm only like an hour and a half from you and y'all have scorpions. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Little pine bark scorpions. Yeah.
Well, that was one of the first times when I was down in Alabama that you guys told me to buy snake boots. And I'm like, snake boots? What are snake boots?
Yeah. They come up to here.
I'm like, all right, I'll buy some snake boots. So, and everyone's like, even when we were in LBL, Kumbo grabbed me and was like, watch it. You got to be real careful stepping over those logs. And I'm like, oh, yeah. So I'm kind of a greenhorn still, even though I've been out to 25 different places, I'm not always deep in the woods, and I'm not always around snakes and scorpions and other venomous creatures. So I'm still I'm a newbie. So I got to learn my lesson.
Well, so you didn't know that you were in the Amazon, of the South. Alabama has more species of fish, more species of salamanders, more species than any other state in the United States. So yeah, man, we got some things down here that, man, they'll pop you and and hurt you.
Yeah. So that is one of the things that I'm too naive right now. I need to learn my lesson a little better, because sometimes I'm not afraid enough. I need to learn to be a little more cautious.
Well, I mean, it just comes with experience, and even now, I don't go to the north end because it's so rocky and there's copperheads and rattlesnakes everywhere.
Yeah.
And I won't step over a log. I carry one of Gary's spikes, snake sticks is what I call them, and I pop the ground as I'm walking, and then I'll scrape on the other side of a log. And it's been really cautious, but when you're like Adam, where at the LBL or you're in these places, if you get snake bit, it's a long ways to the hospital.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah. So,
I mean, just driving out of LBL is what, half an hour?
Yeah, we're in the middle there, and I don't know where the nearest hospital would be. Yeah. I don't think I don't even know on the Tennessee side. I don't think there's one, that little town where you turn.
Remember that military helicopter that buzzed us?
Man.
Yeah.
Maybe we could get them to airlift us out to safety if we would get a
yeah. So. Maybe Bud or somebody has a military radio we don't know about. We could call them in. Yep. But yeah, so me and Greg were talking after you left. You and Chris left, and Bud, and y'all had told us where all you were going, and I'm like, man, that's a dream trip for me,
Yeah.
and I'm down here. So yeah, y'all go ahead. It was a
So
heck
so
of a
I
trip.
didn't get a good night's sleep because I was still caffeinated. And Greg comes in and wakes me up, and his man cave is really cool, and I'm glad it has a shower. But he could definitely use a maid service. And so, like, we get up, we take the shower, we get out of there, and then right away we're back on the road again. And I think right after that, didn't we go to the Green Farm,
Well,
or
we went to
did we stop?
Kumbo's,
Oh, we went to Kumbo's right away. Yeah, you're right.
and then after y'all left there, we came on back to Tennessee. So,
Okay.
yeah, when I was talking to Adams, he was seeing sounds. He's kind of wired.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was really wired. Yeah. So yeah, we went out to, and just, here I am meeting these legendary people. All of you guys are just, yeah, everyone's talking. I get down to LBL and like, you got to meet Bama. You got to meet Bama. He's a legend. Yeah, really. I'm serious. And, I'd already met Roger and stuff. And so
that's funny.
I'm like, and I'm hanging out with Kumbo. I'm like, how does this happen? Like, this is like, I get invited to the VIP table right away. This is great.
that's funny.
So yeah, so we're over at Kumbo's place, and he had a lot of audio that he just wanted to show, a lot of things, and his wife, Rebecca, what's his name?
Sandy.
Sandy, oh, Sandy,
Yeah.
that's right. Yes, she was amazing, and she was telling us about the photos that she took and the crazy glowing stuff in the trees, and and all of these things that just like, oh, I want to see these things. I want to stick around for 2 weeks to hang out to see this stuff. But we only had a day, so it's like we're there for a day and then we're off again. So, but we did get to go into the woods. Kumbo took us up to the point. While we were up there, we were doing some calls and whatnot. And that was the first time I'd ever seen red eye glow. So that was a first for me too. So I've had a lot of little firsts on every trip. I'd like, oh, that's the first time I've heard a whoop, or first time I've seen a print, or first time, seeing a structure, those kind of things. So that was the first time I saw red eye glow. Yeah.
I said, what about the eye glow?
Well, just Kumbo's very, very attentive and very observant. So she said, look over there. And I'm like, I turned around, got a glance. He's like, and I'm like, right down to the end of the bush. He goes, yep. And I'm like, I see it. And it was red eye glow hanging out down there. And we got the thermal out, and I think we got a thermal hit on it as well. Didn't know what it was, but we didn't get any callbacks or any wood knocks that night. We were a little bummed about that, but that was the first night I got to see some eyes. So
Yeah.
that was kind of cool.
And when you're hanging out with all of us or these people he's talking to, yeah, you do talk about Bigfoot and boogers and stuff like that, but some of the life stories were freaking amazing that we heard that night
Oh yeah.
at Kumbo's. Some of the we can't tell.
All the musicians he knows,
Yeah.
and all the things he's done in his life. Yeah, it is amazing. So
Oh, there's some amazing stories. Maybe we can get him on one night on my other little channel just to tell some of the things he can tell. Anyway, we won't get into that. I'll quit interrupting.
no, that's
But that's what I love about this. It's yes, we are doing going out in the woods and we're looking for things, but 95% of the conversations are not about the subject. It's just getting to know each other and spending time. Greg, shut up, Greg.
yeah. I always tell people, Bigfooting is just like camping, but you just have equipment and you're looking and you're keeping your eyes open.
Yeah.
So
This whole time I'm texting with Chris, because one of y'all was posting something on Facebook, First thing was I fussed at him. I said, dude, you can't come to Bankhead without going hiking. I go, otherwise you're just driving through, pine trees through the forest or something like that. But I was calling it like the Alabama Booger Tour or something like that. But I wanted to know what you thought about like Flat Rock's place or.
Oh yeah. Well, the next place we got to go to was Creepy Mountain and Mark Green's farm.
Oh,
before.
I didn't know if y'all actually got to go to
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So, I mean, I set up a bed in my Jeep so I could easily just park and sleep. And it makes it really convenient at the wayside rests as well. That's how I can drive so long and just park whenever I'm tired. But anyways, so I'm sleeping out in my car, and the next morning we wake up and there's these handprints and stuff on my car at the farm. And I'm like, woo, that's a new thing. And then we end up going up to Creepy Mountain, all of us. And the first thing we do is once we get past the gate up there, we hear some sentinels wood knocking, letting everybody know that we're there. I know we got up there, and I think Patrick had some sticks thrown at him or something like that. And Chris was getting some thermal hits, and we definitely got a couple of wood knocks. And, but like you said, we get up to the lake, and it's all just hanging out, talking and having a good time and getting to know each other and just listening for something to happen. And we were all doing that, and 15 feet away, something was drawn on my car. I might have a picture of it. You want to see? Let me see if I can bring this up. Yeah.
And just a side note for the people that'll be listening to this later, most people in chat know this, but if you think you've heard Creepy Mountain before, it was in an episode of Finding Bigfoot where they had gone up there.
All right. So Creepy Mountain.
That's a place for high strangeness, not just Bigfoot things.
Yeah. All right. So come take, if you just pop up that other screen now, you can take a look at this.
It's gone.
It's gone. I can log it in again. Hang on a second.
All right.
We'll make the technical stuff happen.
I don't know if it timed out or not.
Here we go.
Yeah.
See, Adam, he's going to know how to make it fill up the whole screen, everything.
All right. I'm jumping back in the studio here. I got two computers I'm trying to run here. All right. That should be in, and I'm going to share my screen. Share screen, whole screen, nothing but the screen, share. All right. You should be able to I should be back in again. There you go.
Look at there.
All right. So this image right here, I'm going to hide this one right now for now. This one here was just like, I walked back to the car after we're all sitting around Creepy Mountain, and this is on my window. I don't know what that is. Like none of us did it. You can see how dirty the cars get just driving up the mountain. And then they did this, or I won't say I don't know who did it, but it's like 3 birds. I've never seen that before. And I've told people about it, and they're like, oh yeah, I've seen that exact same thing. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool. But
that's wild.
Yeah,
it looks like a thumbprint. I mean, even on the other one, it looks like a partial thumbprint also.
Yeah, it does look like there's a little something here, but I see 1, 2, 3, 4 streaks and maybe a thumb over here. Maybe that's a hand and there's a palm, something. I don't know. But you can see my dirty fingerprints left over here, but that was fresh. I mean, I just walked over to my car and that had happened. So
which one was square on the car?
Which one was square?
No, where was that? Was that like a side window?
Side window. And
what about the second one?
Let me take a look. The streaks were the side window, and this, I believe, was the side window as well. So maybe on the other side. So
both sides of the vehicle.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the vehicle was parked, 10, 15 feet away from us while we're hanging out at the lake. I don't know.
So would it be on the opposite side of you guys where this was at? Okay.
So, well, I won't say opposite. It was like off to our right as we were looking at the lake. So we were all facing the lake, hanging out by the water, and the cars were kind of parked behind us and off to the side because we had 3 or 4 vehicles up there. So,
what is that smudge up above that?
Oh, dude, what I've learned is I take a bottle of Windex with me now. And before I go to sleep, I Windex my windows.
I've told people that. I've told people to do that.
Yeah.
Because I've told them, I've said, it is so easy to fingerprint something. I've taken tens of thousands of prints. And man, I could I could almost print something with some charcoal, if I was camping or something, at least get a good enough print.
Yep.
But yeah, I told people thought I was weird one time because I go, oh, I've done my door handles and the windows and everything. So, just
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Since you
Well,
got the
that's-
screen up, this is I popped a drone up at Flat Rock's place. This is what it looks like. I mean, Alabama is a beautiful place. I mean, this is amazing. And there's just so much woods.
Yeah, and something that's a great shot.
It is.
If you see those big open areas, especially that one when it first started over
Yep.
to the right,
Yep.
people will understand that you have all these hardwoods, but the timber industry is huge down here. So a lot of those will be cut over. They cut all that. Like that over there has been cut over and it's growing back in small pine saplings now. So for wildlife purposes, that's like a desert. No birds lives in there, no wildlife, no squirrels, nothing like that.
Yeah.
It makes a good windbreak though, and a place for things to hide, like deer, boogers, whatever.
Is this directly behind Flat Rock's house?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
That's really, really wooded.
Yeah. So when people think, I mean, Flat Rock is probably 15 minutes away from a grocery store, something like that. But he lives out in the middle of nowhere too,
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these places are not hard to get to, but they back up to these huge, vast areas of woods, and there's stuff living out there,
And that's a good point, because a lot of people, they'll look on a map and it's hard to look at Google Earth. You can see it and you're like, well, there's woods here, but that a shot like that shows how far it goes. And on Creepy Mountain, I think I looked it up. I saw a video that Mark Green had done, and they had drove up and did a little bit of, filming, and they were overlooking. He did just kind of a pan overlooking this forest, and I got on there, and it's amazing how big it is. And people, I laugh at this, and look, I don't laugh at many people because we have people that's been curious for 3 days and they ask all the same questions, and they're like, where do they hide? Man, they've got oh man, it's just it's hilarious. And I don't I don't laugh at them. I'm like, look, until you get out there like Adam's doing and see these places, and then look at the map and think, oh my God, there miles.
Yeah.
It's miles to the next house or the next town, and you have the water and the rivers and the ridges and and maybe caves in certain areas like our area.
Yep.
And myself, turkey hunting years ago, would sit still because you're full camo. And I had a guy that hunted the other property, and I would sit still, and he would come by me on a 4-wheeler, and all the times he came up there, he never knew I was there.
Right.
So something that's great at this, and you're in their living room, they know, I mean, I'll get off on that. You walk right past, they'll let you.
Well, speaking of that, so this is the house in Georgetown where I was out in Colorado. You probably saw the Facebook posts. This is my dad's second house in Colorado, and we use it as a family guest house. And this is the porch. This is our porch. Look at that big boy.
Yeah.
Yep. And then the next day, right? The next day, my dad sends me this picture. He's like, oh, yeah, well, I don't have a bear on my porch, but I have a moose on my porch. Right. And then another guy in town posts this on the Facebook group. He's like, oh, yeah, I got you both beat here. Let's see. He goes, I got a big mountain lion on my porch.
Oh.
So you're hanging out in a town, you're in town, and all of this wildlife is literally just popping in at night, and you don't even know it.
Oh, my goodness.
If you're right on the edge of the woods, you don't even know what's going on. And, the security cams are catching all this stuff now. So
And that's a good point, Adam. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there.
yeah,
Because we all, I mean, I'm sure when we were kids, our ages, we were out in the woods at night. We were doing things and rambling all the time. But now I'm guilty of it. I'd rather be at home at 8 o'clock than not. And but there's some people. I've lived in this neighborhood for 20 years, and everybody on this street are house dwellers. I barely see my neighbors out.
yeah.
And then they'll be the first ones. Well, I've never seen nothing. Well, you never go outside.
Exactly. Chris said it. Chris says it the best. He's like, get out in the woods. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you got to do. Get out in the woods.
Right.
Speaking of getting out of the woods. Okay. Before I got my first TP expedition, I was testing some cameras up at a site in northern Minnesota. Right. And we put these cameras up. The landowner let us have them up there for 8 months. And these things were on 24/7 for 8 months. And the very first night I was out there putting the cameras up, Doug Hychek was monitoring them, and I was exhausted. So I climbed in my tent and went to sleep because I knew I had to get up the next morning and keep working on the cameras. Doug calls me and my ringer's off. He calls me the next morning. He's like, don't erase the cards. Don't erase the cameras. I'm like, what? And he goes, I'll tell you later. So finally I get a hold of him. He's like, I saw 3 Bigfoot walk past the camera last night. You got him on the first night. And I'm like, woohoo. We went back. That's the one camera that malfunctioned. That's the one camera that didn't record that night.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I'm just like, whatever. But we did have a weird anomaly that was caught on this exact camera that you're looking at, right? And the landowner posted it on Facebook. And what's really interesting is the next night, and other people have heard this story, but no one's seen the video yet because I just found it today. But I've talked about somebody sending in drones, right? So check this out. I'm going to play this. Did you see that?
I saw the movement on the leaves.
Exactly. Yep. And that's what triggered my eyes too. So I'm just going to make
is the drone above it?
The drone
air
comes
coming
in.
down?
Yep. So at 1:30 at night, I have to figure out, there we go. So 1:30 at night, I saw this, and you can see the downdraft, right?
Right.
And you can see something fly through the screen right there. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hard to see, but you can see the downdraft happen. And I'm like, the only thing that I know that creates a downdraft is a drone. Yeah. Because birds don't create downdraft. Bugs are, bats don't create downdraft. That's a downdraft. You see the whole leaf shake. Well, the next night, same thing happens, 2:30 a.m. This one's a little bit easier to see though, too, because the downdraft really took over. I got to reach around here. Okay. So you can see that here's the downdraft again, and it's the same path. It's a little higher. Let me see if I can do it. Back and forth. But you can see the downdraft happen and the leaves behind there too. See how the whole path shakes?
It's actually moving the limbs. I don't know they're small limbs, but that's.
Yeah. And I was able to freeze frame it on one of these frames right there. You can see the kind of the shape of the drone and the four propellers there.
Right there.
Yep. You see that? Who the hell's flying a drone through a heavily wooded space in the middle of the night?
How could you?
If you notice, when it passes and does the obvious movement on those leaves, it actually dips down in a low arc and actually causes movement on the other leaves back behind it, along the ground.
Uh-huh.
So,
who can even fly a drone like that at night through the woods?
Yeah.
Well, and all right, let's walk through this.
I got to watch it again.
Is there anything natural big enough with downforce that could possibly do that?
Well, there's a backstory here that I'll tell you too.
Okay.
2 weeks before this event took place, I got a call from the landowner, and his neighbor asked him to go canoeing with him because he canoes up the river there's a river right across the street from this land. Everybody has 40 acres. So when I say right across the street, it's several acres away. But basically, he said he was too busy, so he got another friend. His friend gets in the back of the canoe. They go up, they paddle upstream a little bit. He's on his way to a secret Bigfoot spot, right? He's also a Bigfooter, the neighbor is too. And he tells the guy, jump out of the canoe, sit on the bank, watch with the thermal. I think I'm being followed up the river, right? Yeah, very interesting. But the interesting part is the guy actually has the thermal out and he sees a drone following the canoe up the river.
Huh.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden we get this drone footage on our security camera. Now you ready for the craziest part? I went out, I buy all my cards at the same computer shop and they're all labeled, they're all store brand, right? So I have all of my cards that are the same brand. And I go up to this place and I retrieve the camera and the card is empty, but it's not my brand of card. Somebody went on private property, went to this camera, retrieved this drone footage. Now I got this out of the cloud. I was going to try to get it right off the camera, but this came from the cloud, which is why these cameras, the security cameras, are great because you get cloud footage and local SD footage. So the point is, somebody went and stole my SD card and put another SD card inside this camera. Like, what's up with that?
So are we thinking that somebody knows these things are there and keeping an eye on them, or are they keeping an eye on you?
Well, so the other weird thing that happened was a little earlier in the season, right? The landowner had another Bigfoot research team up there, and they actually saw one cross a field and jump a fence on his property, right? So they circled it on Google Earth where it happened. They emailed it to Doug Hychek, and 20 minutes later, a plane was left from the local airport, flew directly around their property, did low altitude loops. The owner was able to get the tail numbers, and I actually looked it up myself, and I saw the flight path. The plane went directly over his property, did a couple of loops, and went right back to the airport. So I don't know. You tell me. I think there's somebody watching this property pretty heavily. So
and I'm assuming that the landowner and the neighbor got into Bigfooting because they dealing with a Bigfoot, right?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Several of them. I mean, I think I want to say he's seen Bigfoot 15 to 20 times on his property. And his kids, his grandkids have, his kids have, it's like, and a lot of the researchers that go up there see it too. And I'm like, dude, invite me up more often.
And that just, that just blows your mind.
Yeah.
And we know there's a military base across the water from LBL or whatever. And they definitely keep an eye on us. I don't know if it's for our safety or whatever, but Adam mentioned the one flyover every time we go. I mean, this last time I was there, 5 days maybe, and the helicopters in there, they were having controlled burns, but they weren't going over there. They were circling over top of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why is that?
I don't know.
I got to ask you this place where, you caught the drone video and stuff like that. Did you say what state that was in?
Minnesota.
Is this the same place where you lived in a teepee for a month?
No.
Okay. All right.
I asked the landowner if I could live in my teepee on his property for a month, and he's like, nope, not going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah. He'll let me bring a tent up and stay a couple of nights, but and hopefully I'll do that next summer. This summer I was just too busy. So super nice guy. Really fun property. A lot of people have been up there seeing Bigfoot, and I'm just like, all right, I got to make it happen.
What's your goal? I mean, what's
good question.
That place sounds like it's almost as hot as it gets, but it's like, if you go there and stay, what's the whole goal?
That particular property, the landowner has gone deep into the high strangeness, and he's they've told him with mind speak that they don't want to be filmed. So he told them that he wouldn't put cameras up and he wouldn't allow people to record. So he has a strict no technology policy. So if I go up to that land with a tent, that's all I can bring is a tent. And my whole thing would just to be experience it, to see them and possibly have mind speak with them. So that's the goal for that property. But that would just be a personal experience, so I wouldn't be able to share any data. So
that's and you kind of understand. I mean, like I can understand his point of view, and
Yep.
because, like I said, he has to live with them.
Yep.
So
He does.
what are we looking at here?
This is my third expedition in a mining camp in Colorado, and it was my first time goofing around with my cheap thermal. But do you see something in the images here?
It looks like it's peeking out behind a tree.
Yep.
It's like a humanoid figure.
It looks humanoid.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's kind of moving, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like Greg House says, I'm going to go get rid of this stuff I've been drinking. I'll be back in a minute.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So the crazy thing is, even though I get evidence, I don't like to share it very much because I don't consider it good evidence. I'm like, I don't know what that is. I can't prove anything.
Right.
You know, I can't prove that those are drones in there. The image is too blurry, but I can say, yeah, there's a downdraft, and nothing else I know causes a downdraft. Here's the teepee one. So when I was up doing the teepee thing, right, I got something that I think that I call eye shine. So watch the left of the screen. You'll see a very bright light come on right there. See it? See that light come on right there?
Okay.
That's what I think was an eye, because we went out there the next day and found footprints next to the tree. So I'll play this in real time here, but you'll see it kind of open, and you'll see eye shine, and it's just standing there. It gets brighter and dimmer, and then it moves away. See that?
Yes. And
So
there's no, I mean, there's nothing. Was it a full moon or a good bright moon out? But
not this night. No, there was other nights it was really bright. So
that
but you
doesn't
can
make
see
sense.
that it's just it opens slowly and it closes slowly, you know, and it's peeking out from behind a tree. Is this good evidence? No, it's horrible evidence. Doesn't prove anything, you know. Some dude with a flashlight could be back there, you know. But I mean, I'm 12 to 15 miles away from the nearest human. I'm like, why is somebody goofing around like that? You know?
Right. So is that on another ridge? That looks like it's on a side of another hill. If it's not real close to you,
that's a daytime shot of the same area. So that happened right in these trees right here.
Okay.
Where next to my teepee.
Okay.
So
that makes that.
was
So go back to it, please.
okay.
I want to check something.
Yep. See the teepee there? Okay, you can see a white thing right here. That is a garbage bag that I tied to a tree, and that is almost 5 feet off the ground. Okay, so that gives you a little bit of reference. So if you look at where the eye shine is right there, that's at least double that. That's like 9-10 foot eye shine right there. See that?
Yeah.
And it's not really moving like an orb. So
Nope. It was stationary. And then I got another shot, you know, and I just kind of snuck through all my footage and found all these little shots. I still have to go through a bunch of these.
And from that angle, you can rule out a star or a planet immediately. Yeah.
Yep.
And you found tracks.
Way too low. It was only 9 feet off the ground. This is the track that we found in the marsh, which was really cool. You can see it right there. It's hard to see on camera, but once I start pouring the mold, you can see it take shape here. So that's me casting my first cast ever. And you can see that looks like a foot. And there's some toes right up there. And the one mistake I made that I'm going to tell everybody else, bring multiple bags of casting material, because this was 3 or 4 inches deep. So when I poured all the casting material in there, I still didn't get the toes because they were a couple inches higher. So all of these little toes that I did capture broke off. So bring lots of casting material.
And that was real close to where the light was seen, right?
This is about, okay, so the light was 15 feet behind the teepee, and this is 20 feet on the other side of the teepee in the marsh.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and that's the cast I got out. And, you know, it looks kind of like a foot, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But is it
Listen,
good evidence?
That is
No.
what most casts that people make look like. I mean, you know, I got lucky to, you know, my first real trackway, you know, had toes and just, you know,
Yeah.
toes splaying and everything. But that's really what most casts end up looking like when you cast them. And
That's
that's
right.
the thing is like the video and the cast that you took, you know, those may not be quote unquote proof to anybody, but
Right.
to you corroborating everything together, you know, that
Yeah.
solidifies things for you. You know,
Yeah.
you're
Well,
not
at the
you're not
teepee, I
going to be able
had,
to you're not going to be able to prove anything to anybody. I'm sorry to
right.
tell you that.
Exactly.
But that's the
Well,
thing.
mhm,
You know, we talked about tracks being so rare, and that's the way. You know, every now and then you get some really great ones in the right
Yeah,
material, but
yep.
most of them are like that right there.
yeah,
N- so you go, what could have made that track, and you rule out a ton of things.
Yep.
So it's actually good. Wendell said that's actually good evidence. I think so too. Good job of video and pouring the, you know, whatever that is.
Casting material. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Um,
There you go.
Citrical. I think that's the name of that stuff that you want to buy, the fast drying stuff. So
yeah.
this picture is Snell Grove in the morning. So for
Wow.
those of
Beautiful.
you who want to go up there, it is gorgeous. Yeah. And then
So how does it feel? I want to know the feeling, because I think Bama he gets into this stuff too. You're up there with no escape route. You know, you got electricity and with a generator, and how scary is it being in that situation?
there's two ways I feel about it, right? Because like, let's see if I got so here's Snell Grove on the second trip, right? Um, you got wildlife literally walking on your porch,
Yeah.
right? This is
Yeah,
the Snell Grove cabin right here. So it's fun. You're really close to nature. We had otters, we had seagulls, we had bears, we had all sorts of stuff going on. So it's fun. So that stuff doesn't really freak me out, but you know what? It could be dangerous. I don't know.
can
The
I ask a
slaps on the
question?
house. Go ahead.
This Snell Grove, is this a natural park or this private property? Like that cabin there, is that, you know, is that somebody's cabin? Do you go there because it's a Bigfoot hotspot or?
Yeah, Doug discovered it. He'd been going there for years, and then he's done a couple Monster Quest episodes up there as well. And so
Okay.
that's kind of one of the legendary Bigfoot spots that a lot of people want to go to. It is a cabin that you can rent from an outfitter in Canada. It is extremely remote. Matter of fact, you have to
You have to fly in,
so
don't you?
you have
So
to fly in.
people would go there to hunt and fish. Really, would be
Not even hunt, because you can't even walk around. And I don't think they want you shooting the moose and the other stuff up there.
okay.
So you got to get your fishing license, and it's just for fishing. But
Okay.
this is where you go. You start off at the outfitters right there, and then you walk to the end of the dock and you get on one of their 15 float planes, and they have cabins all over these lakes. And the only cabin on that entire Snell Grove Lake is that one cabin. You are
Wow.
literally, you fly 45 minutes over trees and lakes and trees and lakes and trees and lakes, and then you land in a lake and you get out, and you're miles and miles away from other humans.
So, Bama, you remember the Monster Quest episode where Dr. Meldrum they had a wooden board with screws in it, and they found the blood.
Yeah.
They had it sitting outside the door, and when they
You
came
mean
back,
they had the screws up through the board to
yes,
keep bears and
right,
grizzlies and stuff from coming coming up in
yes,
Yeah.
and out. Yeah, I think I remember that where something had stepped onto one of the boards.
and
But
when
like,
Doctor
go
go ahead
ahead.
when Dr. Meldrum took his Sharpie and they went around the ones that had meat and blood and hair on them, and
Mhm.
went around. And when he got finished drawing, it looked like that track Adam just casted. Basically, had the same
Yep.
shape to it.
How did if Adam, if you know this, how did somebody begin thinking or knowing that something was going on at this cabin? I'm going to start researching this cabin and watching some videos about this cabin.
Well, I think Doug Hychek is the one who found it. He had been going up there fishing for years, and then something happened, and he just realized that it's got to be Bigfoot activity up there. So he brought researchers up there, and when we were there, we had a whole bunch of stuff happen. We had acorns being thrown over the outhouse at us. We had trees being shaken. We had house slaps, a really big house slap that shook the cabin. We had rocks being thrown at our cameras. And then this is a panoramic of that same cabin at the lake there. So I'll get that up. But yeah, it's really beautiful. It's a great place to go. Oh, I'm going to show this for Bud. Bud was up there with us. Bud put his trail cam out, and he caught bald eagles. He put fish out for Squatch, and he ended up getting bears and bald eagles fighting over his fish. But yeah.
And if some of y'all want to watch about Snell Grove, you can go to the Monster Quest episode. I don't know which one it is, but I mean, most of us have seen that back in the day. And then actually Bud and Angie, Adventures with Bud and Angie, Bud, he filmed a little bit, went fishing out in the boat and showed that rock where he put the fish at. And it's really beautiful up there, but it's so remote.
So remote.
Doug asked me, he said, "You want to go to Snell Grove?" I said, "Nope." It didn't take me but 2 seconds. No. I'm not going.
Yeah, you need a small bank loan to get up there too. So
I'm not doing it.
My wife was really nice, saying I could go once, and then I'm like, "Can I go again?" And she's like, "Yeah, you can do that. All right." So I gotta hand it to the wife. She's a great partner. So this is the fire pit at Snell Grove, and this camera I had was automated, so it moved around all night long, and it moved across the lake right here, and you'll see something interesting. What do you see right there?
There's a light on the other bank.
Yep. There's no other humans up there. And we got really excited about this. There's a bright light over on that other bank there.
So it would have to be pretty big too.
Yep. And I figured it out though.
Uh-oh. The moon reflected?
Nope.
What?
This was my IR camera trap. This is the light that I built, and we put it out in the woods. I totally forgot I put it there. And we're like, oh yeah, so something triggered my light, triggered my camera trap. And I have to really dig through the footage, but my quick look, I didn't find much. But just to the right over here, right there is where I saw that portal open. And I wish I had filmed it, because it was this giant golden, amber colored rectangular portal that went from the top of from the lake surface of the lake up to the top of the trees, was open for 5 or 6 seconds and then closed. And I'm just like, what the hell's that?
Is that the first time you've experienced something like that?
Yes.
I mean, because
absolutely.
that's how did you feel any sensation when that was going on, or was your mind clear?
My mind's really clear. I've seen so many weird things that I'm just like, the first thing I think of is, damn, should have had a camera rolling. And that, I don't feel like it's scary or anything. I don't feel like something's coming out of it at me.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm like, what the heck was that? Why didn't I have a camera on? And the second trip on Snell Grove, I wore a GoPro right on my forehead, like 7 or 8 hours a day. I mean, it hurt. I had an imprint in my forehead from the camera, and people don't get it. Like, you can't do 24/7.
No.
The GoPros burn through batteries like every hour and a half, and they burn through cards every 3 or 4 hours or whatever. And you're constantly switching things out and trying to keep that thing going all day.
And the thing with a GoPro, everybody says that, you need a GoPro. Well, they're not the best cameras in the world if something is 80 yards away and you're moving. It's so tough to get a great video or picture. And Andrew the cabin. How many times? The cabin's been broken into several times.
Yeah,
Hasn't
it was broken into just a month before we got there. Matter of fact, I think a couple of weeks. They just fixed it up.
it? Yeah, they had to like remodel. It was so bad.
Yeah, they have to fix all the things they can't, because remember, they have to bring every piece of material in on a float plane, and they had to build that cabin from materials on a float plane. So they try to use whatever's there to fix it. So
Yeah.
like for us, the cabinet doors were all ripped off, but they didn't put new cabinet doors on. They put the old ones back on, but
Yeah.
that was good for us, because what we were able to do is look at them with a scientific mind and go, okay, if this was a bear that ripped this off the cabinet, there should be some scratches on it. There should be some bite marks on it. There should be, because a bear has to grab it with his teeth or its claws. Those are the only two things I can think of to pull it off the hinges. And we didn't find any sort of scratches or bite marks on it at all. So, we're thinking something with fingers did it. And that's why they built that nail board, because something broke in there and trashed the place the first time. And what's really interesting, which they don't really kind of talk about too much, is that everybody who goes up there brings entertainment. And what do you normally bring? What's light? What's easy to carry? A deck of cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
So every fisherman brings a deck of cards up there, and they just leave them there. So there's like 100 decks of cards up there just sitting on the shelf, right? Whatever broke into the cabin sat there on the couch and ripped up playing cards, like decks and decks of playing cards. What kind of bear would do that?
So like in the pack?
Yeah, he took it out of the pack,
took it out and just started tearing
card
them up
individually, and just ripped up playing cards on the floor.
And dude, that gives me the creeps.
Yeah,
right.
That creeps me out.
That's
and if you could hear this is what creeped us out the second time. I think I froze up a little bit here.
I do remember from at least one of the Monster Quest episodes when the cabin got broken into, nobody was there.
Yep.
And they said a bear would have went for the insulation inside the refrigerator, because that's what they do, because that formaldehyde, I believe it is, or something that's in that smells sweet to them. And it whatever was in there didn't touch the refrigerator, which is unlike a bear.
Right. And so all the signs point to something other than a bear.
Right.
All right.
Wow.
Okay. I think I know.
Yeah, I could. Bama's freaked out. I wasn't. I'm like, I'm just picturing like, why? Like a regular animal might knock a couple off and chew on a pack to test it out and then figure out it's nothing. But what would sit on the couch?
What would sit on the couch and rip them all up? Exactly.
Look, man, that's the thing. Y'all are picturing it's it or them or whatever sitting on the couch, tearing the cars up. I picture it like crouching on the floor like a crab or something, like on Lord of the Rings or something. Or just,
oh my God.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
And Flat Rockland said it was tiny little pieces.
Oh, did he? Okay. I didn't know the whole story, but
yeah, that's a good Lori Barnes. Maybe Doug, y'all need to leave something to trick it. Make it look like a deck of cards.
Yeah. So
I know y'all's mind. Y'all probably thought about this, before, but I think they're, possibly they're so intelligent and they avoid cameras or they can mess them up. Who knows? I believe a lot of the sightings are accidental, so it's going to be something to really, really trick them, I think. So
yeah. Well, there's two, like, don't trick them because they got telepathy, or try to trick them because you can. So
yeah, and that's the thing.
Thoughts. Now, I'm going to share that screen again with you, and hopefully we're back in. Can you listen to audio? This one's kind of a little creepy.
I believe it'll play. Try it.
Okay, I'll play it again. So I don't know if you've got the volume on that screen or not. All right. I'll just tell you, we had the cameras out, and we literally, all of us were just kind of casually talking, and we heard a voice come across the cameras from in the woods, miles and miles away from everybody else. So I call it an EVP, but it was a voice, and it sounds kind of Native American. And that was what really creeped us out when we were there, because it's like, oh, that's language, that's intelligent speech.
This is
Like,
all still at the same place.
that's Snell Grove, yeah. There is a little bit of a paranormal thing going on up there. The first night I was there, I climbed into bed and I felt something sit on my legs, and I didn't want to tell anybody about it because I'm just like, this is really weird. We're doing Bigfoot. I'm not going to talk about ghosts. But the next day, Chris was saying, hey, I got to tell you guys, something was whispering in my ear last night. And I'm like, oh, well, something sat on my legs. And then Doug goes and tells us, oh yeah, well, people have died at this cabin.
Oh,
and I'm like, what? and it's, it's really weird. You don't think about these things, but I guess there was a father-son who had put their life jackets after fishing. They put them on top of the propane refrigerator and blocked the vent, and basically died of carbon monoxide.
Oh man.
Yeah, and that's horrible. But I mean, it happens. Accidents happen. I guess there was another fisherman who had a heart attack up there. And like you arrive on day 1 and the plane picks you up on day 7 and you don't have a sat phone. What do you do with a body for a week?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff that you got to think about when you're that remote. So Creepy Mountain, we did that one already. Flat Rocks drone, we did that. Oh, the tree fall. Well, you don't have audio, so let me play this, see if you can hear it. But yeah,
Roger, you need to get the audio working, Roger, so we can hear
these. Well, I thought if he shared it, it might just play through the
I thought so too. I thought so too.
Spencer and Misty would know how to do this.
No. Misty would know how to do this.
Yeah, Misty got me in trouble with Spencer at LVL.
She's good at that.
Yes. She decided I was making these songs for everybody, and she's like, make one about Spencer. I'm like, I don't know Spencer. Like, I haven't met Spencer much yet. So anyhow, she told me all these things about him. So I made this really funny song and I played it for him. He was not amused. So my first impressions with him are like, okay, sorry, Spencer, I didn't mean to piss you off. All right.
Well, that's easy to do.
Yeah. I'm going to say, try that. I keep looking behind as I got this screen here. I got everything's behind my other screen. 1 second. I'll try to share this one more time. Share screen. All right. Go ahead and add that back in if you can.
Okay.
All right. I must have shut it down. Okay. So right away at the back of Flat Rocks, we had this, I put my camera up, and literally like 15 seconds later, a giant tree came down 10 feet away from this, and the audio is so loud. I don't know if...
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything.
Yeah, you're not hearing it. All right. But you can see that there was this weird flash of light right here. Did you see that?
I saw. So was it not lightning?
It could have been lightning, but it was just like lightning flashed, and then the tree came down, and there was no wind and there was no rain. So it was interesting. Is it good evidence? No. Did we find footprints next to the tree the next morning? Yes. Were they castable? No.
And there was, if I'm not mistaken, there was at least 8 or 10 of you guys there, right? It was was it Bud and Angie and Flat Rock and Patrick and
yep,
and then Chris, yeah,
yep, and Joe and Pat and a couple other friends there, yeah.
Hey, so this is good, Adam. I'm glad you brought this picture up. He sent this to me right after he took it. Bama, this is the LBL. Have you ever seen anything like this?
I was sitting looking at it the whole time y'all were talking. I don't know, man.
So
I mean, the thing about LBL is, like what time of year was this? Was this at low pool? This is at low pool when they let the water way down, isn't it?
Yeah, and this is right after we did the whole the Alabama tour. So right after I was driving back to Minnesota, and LBL is literally on my way. So I'm like, I've never been there. I want to see what it's like. So I went to, the campsite everyone told me to go to. And the first thing I see is these little ponds. There's 1, 2, 3, you can see 4, 5. There's like 5 of them. And right down at the top of the picture there, I found a boneyard where it had deer bones, fish bones, and clam bones or clam shells. And right across this area is where you guys found the trackway. So this is the same area.
Yeah, I know in fact, now that I look at it, I probably know exactly where that's at.
This is just to the left of that boat launch.
Yeah, I kind of agree with what people are saying in the chat before I ever looked at chat. It looks like somebody constructed them 2 or 3 little minnow traps,
Okay.
to where maybe the minnows could get in through a crack and get trapped up in that little pool there or something.
Yep.
But
Well, guess what I found in every pool?
What's that?
Clams.
Yeah, I'll bet. Yeah.
And the thing is, if this was built, let's say this was built 2 weeks prior and the water level was up a little higher, that would work at this point. But who knows? Because Bama, y'all found the shells up in the woods, haven't you? Where something carried the shells up and
like a pile of them.
That's the same thing I'm talking about.
Now we had a couple of raccoons as kids.
Okay.
And a dang raccoon can get into a mussel shell a lot faster than you can get into one with a knife.
Well,
and but the ones we found were all like piled up in a pile together.
So Adam, were they live or had they been eaten?
The boneyard, just like you said, they were all piled up, but there was deer bones and fish bones in there as well. Yeah. So it was like something sat in the woods and ate.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know what it is. Is it good evidence? No. So.
But it's great to have. Somebody might see something in 3 years and hey, you need.
Are you gonna? He always says, "Is it good evidence?" I don't know. Are you going to give us anything that's good evidence tonight, Adam? Or not?
No, that's just it. I don't have anything that's awesome. I've been on 25 expeditions. I've got wood knocks. I've got whoops. I've got tree falls. I've got.
These are great. I love it.
I got all this stuff, but I've never seen one, and I don't have any good evidence. I've got eye shine,
Well, so. I think you're too picky because you're probably 1% or 0.5% more possible evidence than anybody else has. I mean, you're out there doing this, and that shows you, guys and gals, that shows you how hard it is to get something on camera, on audio,
and documenting it too. That's the thing about me. That's my one regret is I couldn't go back and tell you the date and time that the first thing happened to me, or the second or third. I maybe can narrow it down.
That's why I love the date stamp right here. This tells you exactly when it happened.
Yeah, that's great.
So guess when this happened? 4/13/2026. This was the night after everyone left LBL.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Where is where do you have the camera
at? So because I've got Starlink mounted on my Jeep, right? Roger used it.
Yeah.
I put my Jeep right in the center of the park, right? Where we were all camping. Mm-hmm. And I put 15 cameras all in a giant circle all around, starting up by the bathroom and then all up aside and then past the graveyard road and down. And I didn't put any cameras on Joe and Pat's camper because I didn't want them to feel like I was, pointing it at them. And of course, that night they have a visitor that messes with their cooler and leaves a big footprint on their camper. The one spot I didn't have cameras set up, right?
And where they were at, something could have come from, where we did the show and I was looking out over the water to the left.
Yeah. It could have come from anywhere down there.
You didn't have that area covered.
I didn't have the lakeside covered. I just had the other side by where the big bonfire was. I had that whole area covered.
I agree with that, Andrew. What about you, Bama? It is a preponderance
Yeah,
of evidence
the second he
collectively.
said that, I'm like, oh, I ain't heard anybody use that terminology in a while.
Yeah,
But no, that's exactly right. It's
Yeah.
like you can take any of the little. It just means you can take any of the little individual things, and they don't mean a whole lot. But it's like a crime scene where you have shell casings scattered for 200 yards, in a gunfight. The all of it together is what tells the story and gives
right.
it evidentiary value.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, you
And
need to keep doing what you're doing, Adam. Because
you want me to keep going? I'll
no,
keep
no, no,
going.
no. I just need you to keep. We all need you to keep doing what you're doing
Oh,
as
yeah,
keep
far as
going out in
getting
the
out with
woods?
your
Yeah.
cameras and yeah.
He's taking up our slack. We're tired. We've been doing
Yep.
this. We've been doing this a while.
I'm getting
Dude,
old.
I will take young guns. If there's any young guns out there that want to tag along, please. We need new blood in this thing.
Yeah.
And we need more people hunting, because we've got all the legends are really old now,
And you're right. I
Yeah.
thought
What do you
about
got
that.
going
Just lost
on here?
Pilgrim,
What is this one?
This is the LBL thing. Chris actually saw this live on the camera and told me, he goes, dude, you got a great orb last night. I'm like, what? And so this is the orb that passed my camera.
What in the world?
And you can see it goes behind the plant there. So it's not like a piece of dust that's in close.
Stop it in the center for me, please.
And obviously the AI on the camera was tracking it. So it's something that the AI saw.
I'm trying to see if I don't see what I saw, like a clear membrane, but the shape, it does have kind of a center though, like the very center is more see-through than the edges.
Yep, there's something around the edge there.
It's like almost like a smoke ring thicker, but it's not that, of course.
Yeah.
And then I don't see I saw a nucleus, but that's odd. It's like something's holding that together. Bama, do you have any idea what that could be?
No, I'd like to see like some more frames. Let it come on through a little more.
Sure. I'll play it in real time. Actually, here you go.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
Boom. Real time.
What in the world?
Yeah, you can see it dips. It like changes course too. It like dips down.
Yeah.
So it comes down and then it dips down and then it goes up and it kind of dips down again. And right there, it dips down twice and then goes off.
So this is thermal?
No, this is just infrared.
Okay.
Yeah, it holds its shape. But then again, even though it's round, it looks like it's flat.
Yeah. And you see when it leaves, the bottom right side kind of indents a little bit.
Yeah, like maybe that's just it's turning at an angle. I don't know, man. It's not hitting anything.
No.
I'm looking at that right, the movement down there of the
plant?
of the grass on the far right bottom where that motion.
Oh
box
yeah, I
was
didn't even
picking up.
notice that before.
Yeah,
because you know what? If that's true, then the wind is pushing this plant over this way, right? So it's going against the wind.
Right.
I didn't realize that. Look at that plant is being pushed down a different direction, and that thing is moving against
my
the wind.
security cameras at the house, when it picks up motion, it puts an event box around it.
That's
so your eyes will pick it up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There, that's the event box.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, all right, now let's walk. Now it does look right there. It looks spherical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit. I don't know.
As it goes on across, it's almost as if it turns to its right, and then it looks almost flat as it leaves.
Yes.
Yeah. What is it?
Now,
I don't know. Is it good evidence? No.
Is it evidence? Oh no.
So you're going to say, Adam, this is why I don't talk on like I get asked to be on podcasts, but I don't ask people like, can I be on your podcast? Because I don't even want to show this stuff because it's so weird. I can't explain it, but it doesn't prove anything.
Well, here's another.
This is the place for weird, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You're in the right company. So here's another ruling out. Y'all see if y'all agree with this.
Okay.
For giggles, let's say somebody had a flashlight. It would be going across the leaves and creating shadows over there, and it
Yeah.
definitely wouldn't have changed shape, right?
Right.
So we can rule that out. Now, you're not far from the cemetery, right?
No, not at all. We're right. The
Okay.
cemetery's right up the hill.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask this question.
Let me wait 1 second. Viewers, if you've never been to LBL, the thing that shocked me as you're driving in, there's so many cemeteries there. And I'm like, why are there so many cemeteries around here? And they told me people used to live here. And I'm like, what? And they kicked everybody out of LBL and took it back. And I'm like, so they tore down all the buildings, but they left the cemeteries. And I'm like, wow, this place is creepy.
That was a good point. It looks like a jellyfish on the way out. It's flat on the bottom, like I said. That's a good analogy. Yeah.
And see, and that's what makes it unique, is that it might not be changing shape. It just may be, like Bama said, turning a different angle and showing a different side. Who knows? It's hard to tell.
Exactly.
But I don't have an answer for this. Anything.
I have a question. Is this is filmed because motion set off the camera? Is that correct?
This particular one I had set recording all night long. So every minute, every second of every minute, it recorded all night long.
Okay.
And
so
Chris just happened to spot this one and tell me like, hey, look at 1 o'clock a.m. and you'll see an orb. And I'm like, okay, this is 12:59 or sorry. Yeah, 12:59:38 is the timestamp on this one. And 1 hour after this is when I got up to pee and something growled at me, and it was so close and so loud that I jumped back in the car. And 15, 20 minutes later, the camper, Pat and Joe's camper got walked on and their cooler got tipped over or whatever.
So can we watch this one more time and see? All right, here's what I want to see. I want to see if it's in front of these weeds or behind the weeds or goes in between. I want to kind of see if I can.
It looks like it goes behind, but it is translucent.
Yes.
Well, my thing, what I was asking is, like, I put my trail cam out a couple of weeks ago and left it out for a week on a spring, and I got a couple of raccoons and stuff. When that thing, and it's got my camera has black flash on it, so people can't see it or anything like that. But when that thing is triggered by motion, it lights up the foliage around it like it is in this video here. And there was a tree close in front too, so that tree would pick up a lot of light. I figured out. That's why I was wondering if this was on all the time and illuminated those plants all the time, or if it was simply because of motion. Okay. All right.
So I set all the cameras to be full illumination, and I set them to stay on all night. So they were all burning batteries all night long.
Okay.
Yeah. And
most most game cams now, you can have it to where it'll just do all those different programs for anybody that wants to know.
Yeah. So the cool part about this is that it's all tied into my Starlink. So I can be laying in my Jeep watching all the cameras live, which is really kind of fun.
Yeah.
And it gives me a sense of security knowing that I don't see anything moving out there, But when you step out of the car, you don't have night vision goggles on. So it's pitch black. You guys know it's pitch black.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't see anything. So I'm taking a leak and something growls at me. I mean, it could be 3 feet away. It could be 10 feet away. I don't know. I couldn't see anything.
So just guesstimating. I mean, you've been around big animals. Did it sound like it had good size to it?
Yeah. And you know what? Now that you made me think of it, it sounded like it was coming from above me. So it sounded like it was taller than me. I didn't even think about that fact until just now. Yeah. Yeah.
So, well, that's what happens. That's when we discuss these things, because that weird sound I heard in the broad daylight, later thinking about it, I realized I was looking up about 10 foot.
Yep.
So yeah, that's why it's great to talk about. And for y'all that never have been there and maybe haven't heard us talk about this, I believe he's looking. That's the side of the hill that the cemetery is at the top, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, and Gary and I, Gary got that picture, and it's not a great picture, but I saw him take it. I was standing behind him, and I saw something look out twice, and it had a shoulder and a head, and I heard it walking away, and we found tracks. So, and that's really close to where Gary and Lori and there's like 7 or 8 people saw orbs in my tent with their eyes.
That camera with the orb was basically where Patrick was camped.
Okay.
Behind his tent. Yep.
Under the cedar tree, under the big cedar. Yeah,
Yep.
that's right.
The tick tree.
If I camp with the crowd, that's where I camp at, is next to where Patrick is camped at. Yeah.
All right. Well, this was one of my last things, and I haven't taken very many pictures of stick structures, but tell me that doesn't look placed.
I wish we could. Yeah. Zoom in there.
I see it. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's the Y at the top that's leaned up against the telephone pole.
Right.
There's the sticks, and I got some close-ups of
it. It looks like the ground's really disturbed right under. Almost looks like where a buck has
now. If you look made a rub. You can see there are no branches or leaves anywhere to be seen. This is a planted row of trees, and behind it there's a planted row of pines, and behind that there's a planted row of bushes. This is a weird property where they planted row upon row of windbreak. I don't know what they've done there.
Maybe. Yeah, could be.
But the point is, something brought this branch out and brought all these sticks out to this area, because you can see there's nothing on the ground, and there's nothing that would have fallen from these trees that far away. That's a good 10, 15 feet away from those trees.
So the only thing you have here is a human was camping. What do you call it? What do you call that kind of camping?
Bushcrafting.
Right.
Okay. No one's camping here.
It's a horrible shelter.
Yeah, it is. I know.
No one's camping here because this is literally on the side of the road. On the way to the Vargas trails in Minnesota.
What's interesting is zoom in on the top of that thing there. It looks fresh on top. It looks
fresh and it looks twisted, doesn't it?
Yeah. And that's what I was wondering. Is it twisted, and is the other end stuck in the ground?
No, it was leaned up gently. All these things are crossed and leaned up gently.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
And then about a mile down the road, we found this guy. What I'm going to call, look at this structure. Look at how much stuff's going on here. It's like you can walk into there's like a doorway here. You can go inside there and lay down in the leaves right there. Here's another angle of it.
Oh, yeah.
So you can see it's like all these things are arched over. I mean, yeah, is there snow bend? But you can see how sheltered it is. And there's a great big door right here, basically. We walked into it. I looked for fur and stuff, or hair and all that other stuff. So, but is this great evidence? No. I mean, could this be snow? It's like, I can't show a skeptic any of these things and be like, we're looking at a Bigfoot house, and they'll be like,
you're right.
So yeah. Andrew said the drone you showed earlier is referred to as a dragonfly drone. It only has a 10-minute flight time. The operator must have been close.
Wow, that is crazy.
Because it's not. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah. All right. For those of you guys who haven't seen it yet, I built a Squatchmobile. I took it down to
That's awesome.
LBL.
That's right. I remember it.
I was looking for a T-Rex following him when I first saw it. That is cool.
Yeah. And then for the New York trip, I actually put a bunch of ATVs behind it. So I was pulling a big trailer with a bunch of ATVs. So.
And y'all actually got stopped. Didn't Chris run into a lady in Alabama that has watched his show?
Yeah. I mean, when you're advertising like this on the Jeep, people come out of the woodwork to tell me stories. I had 3 people in Alabama stop me and tell me right where they saw Squatches crossing the bridges. And I looked on a map, and it was literally less than a mile from Flat Rock's house.
Huh.
Like 3 people told me about Sasquatch crossings at less than a mile from Flat Rock's house. strangers just out of the woodwork.
Yeah. Well, when you go to these small communities, Adam,
Yep.
it's like that. We've overheard conversations at Greg's. Now that I'm doing this, I have people that I never would have dreamed that would talk about this or contacted me and like, hey, do you remember where we lived? And you said you saw this there or somebody, and so it's mental pins on a map, but it, and what they have in common is the ridges, right there. The ridges run north and south. They can be over the ridge and be away from everybody. And then you have water close by. Just what we come to find that most of these situations have in common. And when you get to a small community like that, and it wouldn't happen 30 years ago.
Right.
But now people are coming to you and giving you this information.
Yeah.
And so that tells you they're not trying to get on a podcast. They're not trying to sell a t-shirt. They're just like, hey man, you believe in Bigfoot? I see. We saw one cross right down here.
Yep.
I mean, that's
really what it's like. You're right. They just come up to me and be like, I got a story for you. Yeah.
To me, that's where we come from. And Bama started doing the podcast kind of in that transition time. And now we've moved forward enough where people feel comfortable talking to people that they know, that artwork on your Jeep. Yeah. They knew you were somebody safe to talk to.
Yep.
Right. I wear a jacket that might have a patch on it or something I can take off and put back on. I've had more conversations from wearing hats and stuff like that because they figured you either believe in it or you know something. So anyway,
I got a great story. You just reminded me. My back was screwed up, so I went to a masseuse for a little while. And normally there was female masseuses there, but one day there was a male there, and I happened to be wearing a Sasquatch t-shirt. And the guy's giving me a massage. He goes, "So you believe in Bigfoot?" I'm like, "Yeah, I haven't seen one yet, but I believe they're out there." He goes, "Oh yeah, they're out there." And I'm like, "Okay, tell me your story."
Yeah.
Turns out he used to be an illegal pot farmer from Northern California.
Wow.
And he was the dude who was tasked to stay in the tent with the gun all night to make sure nobody broke in the property and stole the marijuana, right? And so he said, yeah. He goes, those things smell terrible. He goes, every time they were around, they'd be smacking my tent and yelling at me. And he goes, there was 3 or 4 of them always. And I could hear him talking back and forth. He goes, it was the freakiest thing. And like that guy, I got to give him kudos because he does have a gun, but he's out there in a tent alone guarding a field, right? And he knows there's Squatch around, and they're literally having conversations around his tent.
And I was somewhere training. I didn't know where everybody was from. There was a guy from actually Minnesota, and there was a guy from California. And it's Northern California, and I'm sitting in front of them. We're on the bus going somewhere to train, and I hear them talking. Hey, I'm Bob. Hey, whatever. And they're talking, and Bob had a Bigfoot hat on. I noticed it, and I didn't say anything. I'm listening to him, and same thing happened. So you into Bigfoot or whatever? And he's like, well, yeah, I saw one in Minnesota. I was on the snowmobile, and blah, 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 blah. Well, this guy said, I had one walk through my camp one night in the mountains, and he wasn't happy. He said he didn't hurt us, but he was, stomping around and moving things around and whatever, ran him out of there. And I said, hey, y'all, I'm Roger Williams. Nice to meet you guys. So,
exactly.
So yeah, that was amazing. And I wasn't going to interrupt them because I wanted to see where this conversation was going. And both of those guys said they saw Bigfoot. One side of the country and the other side of the country. So,
and here I am spending weeks and weeks out in the woods, and I haven't seen him yet.
Well, look, you keep doing what you're doing. You're not on the couch, so you're going to the right places. But I would just suggest pick one of those places and stay for a few days down here, because hit and miss. I mean, I've been to Greg's. We've all been to Greg's, and you'll be there, nothing happens. Then something happens, or you find footprints, or you get hit with a smell that about double you over, and some weird screaming. It's and I think that was the first tracks I've ever found. I've been doing so much in the past 6 years. I think it was. I think because I remember when I pulled the leaves out of the tracks, it looked the right shape, or they looked the right shape, and Peyton was filming, and I was gingerly moving leaves out because this Bama can tell you how sandy and silty. It's real fine, so I didn't want to mess it up. And when I pulled some out of the front and I saw toes, I said some ugly words because I was so excited. It's just no way. But anyway, yeah, I mean,
that's awesome. Did you cast it?
No.
Okay.
Bama, do you think you could cast it in that type of sediment or whatever that's called?
Yeah, I tell people you really had some, and I want to see what this video here is, but if you had something like that, I'd probably maybe drop some saran wrap in it and see if you can just pour it into it that way and work it out into all the ridges and stuff.
I've heard you're supposed to spray it with hairspray, and
that stuff like that works too. But a lot of times people get down there too close, and when they spray it, it just blows stuff out of the footprint. Yep. But yeah. What is this?
Okay, so this is like my first foray. So I didn't really start squatching until 2021, and I put up all these cameras on that same. This is the same drone site property. This is a different camera.
Okay.
But I wanted to show this because everyone thinks that, this right on the tree. Sorry, I'm on the wrong screen. Let me get on the right screen here. So right back here on the tree, right here where my mouse is, there's a peanut butter jar that I basically strapped to the tree, right?
Okay.
But I did an experiment and I said, you know what? I'm not going to break the seal. The owner who gifts peanut butter on this property breaks the seal every time. Oh, and by the way, this black line right here, this is another smart thing I'm doing. So this is 9 feet off the ground. I marked a 9-foot strap. So if I see something walk past it, I know that that's 9 feet. So
like a Dollar General here.
Yeah, exactly. So I got this bear literally just walks right past this peanut butter jar for like 3-4 months and just never smells it, and I'm just like, oh, he knows where all the cameras are.
You should have warned me. That scared the crap out of me. I'm leaning in looking.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
Holy
so that camera's like 6 feet off the ground, so that bear is a big boy. So yeah, that's so if you don't break the seal, I don't know, they don't smell it very well. And then the last thing is this was one of the first fun catches I caught on these cameras back in 21. This is what I call the teleporting bear. And I have no idea what's going on here because you'll see there's a white streak of light that goes across the screen like this. And the streak of light is perfectly timed. It just keeps going, but the bear will jump behind the white streak. So if the film was broken or the camera wasn't working, that white streak would have been broken as well. But the bear literally teleports. So here you go, the teleporting bear. So he walks into camera here, and less than a minute later, he'll turn around and walk back, and halfway up the trail, everything else in the frame is going to be totally normal, except the bear teleports. 15, I think there he is. White streak coming in. Isn't that nutty?
And the moth that's flying by stays the same.
Yep.
Oh, it's like a weird
a glitch. Yeah, a glitch in the matrix.
For people listening, it's almost like it's a weird pixelation or something for just a second.
Yep.
And and like I said, you watch that moth fly from left to right.
Correct.
It doesn't glitch.
Oh
Nope.
yeah, it's and it's close, and you can see fine detail in it as it flies by, and it just
Yep.
goes straight by. Yeah.
So
And
I don't know what's good. Is it good evidence? No.
it's weird. It's weird.
It's very weird. So
Yeah, that's pretty
what-
nutty, man.
What did Doug say about this
the
video?
teleporting bear, I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah, it was just one of the fun things I saw. But
Well,
all right. I can quit. That's all I got for the screen stuff. I have a bunch of audio, but since we don't have any audio, I'm just we can kill that. So
all
I
right.
wanted
Well,
to ask you this then before we, before I forgot about it. This New York experience that you had is probably the most recent. I was wondering if you could go over that with us.
okay, that's a real head scratcher. All right. So a lady in New York has got a lot of Bigfoot activity on her property, and she wanted me to help her out and put a bunch of cameras up. So I went out there with a bunch of gear, installed a Starlink system for her, got all these cameras mounted on the house. But basically, on the way out there, I arrived a day early. So the landowner, the homeowner, didn't know I was going to be there. Luckily, she had a key hidden, and she told me where to find it. I got the key. I got into the place. I was all alone. I unloaded my car. And of course, all of us know something always happens on day one, right? So I wasn't really ready for any camera action. And I really didn't want to change the environment too much on the day one either. So I didn't really want to throw cameras up. But I put an audio recorder out. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I can show you that one. Never mind. So anyways, I put an audio recorder out on the ledge of the stairwell. So it was like 5 feet away from the door, maybe not even, maybe 3.5, 4 feet. But I went to bed and I time-stamped as I walked out and placed the recorder, I said, it's 10:56. I just got unloaded. I'm super tired from driving. I am going to call it a night. And I basically just put the recorder out, the Zoomer audio recorder, and I just went to bed. And I was super chill. I wasn't anxious, or I wasn't freaked out that I was there alone. I didn't know what to expect. I really hadn't done any research on the place at all. I didn't honestly think anything was going to happen, And I was laying in bed, looking out the window. It was a full moon, really bright. And I was kind of going, that would be really cool if I saw a Bigfoot shadow cross the window tonight. I'm like, that would make my day. Right. And that's how I went to bed, with like a big smile on my face, going like, that would be really fun. 1:30 in the morning, I got woke up to something I can only explain as a barrage of fists smacking the side of the house. And because this house was open architecture in the middle, it was like a big bass drum. It just, the whole house shook, and it was rock concert loud. I mean, it was really crazy loud. I literally fell out of bed, hid between the two beds, grabbed my phone, and I was just like, what's going on? And the thing lasted for like 15 seconds. And if you count to 15 slowly, that's a long time.
Oh, it's a long time.
That's a really long time. And my brain was just going like, okay, I hope they're not going to break in. I don't think they will. There's not very many times when they enter the structures. I'm like, I think I'm okay. When is this going to end? Is it ever going to end? Why are these guys so mad at me? I'm like, all of these things were going through my head. But, the point is, and when I get done, it was nutty. I mean, where's my phone at? I don't even know. Anyways, I'll pretend this is my phone. My hand, I was shaking like this. I could barely unlock my phone. And I have never had that much adrenaline and that much fear. It was weird because I don't get that scared that often. And I was just like insanely, and my brain was calm, but my body was just full of adrenaline. And I basically called Doug right away. And Doug's like, you got to go out and get the recorder. And I'm like, no, not yet. Not yet.
Oh, no.
He's like, I'm going to call you. I'm like, no, not yet. Do not call me. I don't want him. I want them to think I'm still asleep. I can't handle this. This is just intense. And so being a real researcher, I should have just jumped out of bed, ran out the door, and like looked at what was going on.
No.
But anyways,
don't beat yourself up over that, because 15 seconds long. I don't know if Doug told me about it or you told me, but I think he contacted me. He said Adam's freaking out.
I was freaking out.
Beating on the side of the house. Yeah. No, look, if they want to come in, you've seen how, if they're big, they can come in.
Yeah.
So do you think, maybe I heard you talk about this, do you think you were there, she wasn't there, and maybe they were trying to run you off?
Yeah.
They didn't know the situation?
Yep.
Possibly.
So the fact you saw the car and I was pulling the ATVs, right?
Mm-hmm.
While I was there over the next couple of days, I realized that there was an ATV track nearby. And from what I learned from Greg House, they hate motorcycles. They hate loud noises. They hate those sounds. And I can imagine if you've got a bunch of humans, screaming their motorcycles around your home, you're not going to like them either. So maybe they knew what the ATVs were, and maybe they knew that I had them and they didn't want me there. Maybe the homeowner said they didn't like men, so maybe they just didn't like men. I was there without the homeowner, so maybe they were protecting the property, and maybe they just saw me break in, kind of deal. I don't know what the reason. Maybe all three reasons.
Yeah, all possible.
Whatever was happening, I could tell they were angry, and they wanted to scare the crap out of me, and they did.
And that's another point. I don't know if this is clear. How many do you think it was? Because they were spread down the wall. It wasn't just one. Was it 2 or 3?
Because, and I know there was more than one because of how fast the fists were hitting.
Right.
Like if it was a bang, 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 I would have thought it was just one. But it was rapid fire. It was machine gun. Bam, 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 bam. And there was like so many fists going on. And it was so loud. And it was just like, what the hell? And the sad part is, I get out there, I retrieve the recorder after I flip on all the lights and work up the courage. Doug is on the phone with me. I'm like, okay, if I get eaten, you're at least going to hear the results, but you're going to hear the scream, So I get the recorder in and I'm shaking still. I load the cards into the computer and I bring up the waveforms and I see the beginning has a spike and the end has a spike. And I play the beginning spike and it's me talking about the time and how tired I was. And the end spike is me picking it up going like, I just went through something really crazy. I got to get, and I'm like, where's the middle? What's happening? Where's the middle at? Nothing. There was crickets. There was frog farts from 30 feet away. There was owls. There was, everything on that recorder except a barrage of rock concert fists.
Isn't that something?
And so now I'm like, okay, that's the first time that I've been thrust into the paranormal world. And I'm like, okay, did they implant that in my brain only? Did I slip into another time zone or a different dimension where it happened? And then I slipped back to my own dimension. I don't know. It's like,
did you set up cameras and all the stuff the next day and get everything?
Yeah.
And then what came of that?
Well, the homeowner came down the next day. And they came down with their son, who is a grown person. And the point is, I had him physically fit, over 30 years old, went outside. He banged the heck out of the siding. And he sounded like a toddler compared to those fists that I heard the night before. I mean, it wasn't even close. And I'm like, are you banging as hard as you can? He's like, yeah. I'm like, that is nothing compared to what I heard last night. And
so when he was banging and testing, did it sound like he was lower down on the wall than
yes.
that they?
Yeah. I mean, he had to reach. It sounded like he was like on the ground level. Yeah. And the banging was from way up high. It sounded like, yeah. So anyways, that's something too. But there was a weird thing that happened that night. Actually, I want to say it was the next night, and that goes into the whole paranormal thing again. The son was sleeping in the room next to me, right? So there's a wall dividing the two of us, and the mom's sleeping upstairs. And I hear the son yell, "Mom!" And it sounded kind of urgent, right? And I'm like, what the heck? So I'm just like, I'm going to stay out of this. He asked for his mom. Mom came running down the stairs. She heard it too. She starts knocking on the door, and she's like, let me in, let me in. What's going on? What's happening? He's not answering. I step out into the hall. I'm like, what's happening? And he's not making a peep. So she goes and gets a lockpick. I'm knocking on the door, and I'm like, dude, are you okay? Talk to us. We're coming in. We're gonna unlock the door. We pop the door open, and I fully expected it to be gone, like physically just gone. He's sitting there on the bed, calm. He looks over at like, what the heck are you guys doing? And we're like, we're here to assist you. We heard you yell. And he goes, I didn't yell. What the heck are you talking about? Wow. And we were both freaked out because both of us heard it.
No.
And that's exactly what he said. He's like, I ain't staying down in this room. He went up to the other bedroom upstairs. He's like, I'm getting the heck out of here. And I'm just like, okay, great. Leave me next to the room where the freaky stuff's going on. So I don't know what's going on at that place, but something's going on there. And I don't know if it's the homeowner has some pretty compelling pictures of Sasquatches through trees. So I want to say it's Sasquatch, but at the same time, when I'm hearing voices, but you guys just made me think of this. Sasquatches can imitate voices. I didn't even think about that. I wonder if that was a Squatch. I always thought it was a ghost or paranormal, but you're right. Maybe it was a Squatch.
So it sounded like it came from his room though, right?
Yeah. I mean, and I would have just been like, okay, I'm imagining things, but she came running down the stairs. She heard it too.
Yeah.
So it was nice to have that backup.
I do know this. When you're in these places where things happen, no matter what they are, sometimes it's so strange you can't even wrap your head around it. It's with the orbs and hearing people have said, they've heard their name called, and not I think I heard my name called like clear, so man.
Yeah.
And so
Heather asked, why didn't he hear it? Like, I don't know.
That's weird.
And even weirder, this is even weirder. On their way home, they had a several 100-mile drive.
Mm-hmm.
On their way home, the mother said she heard the same thing at one of the rest stops. She heard him yell, "Mom," and she went up to him, and he didn't say it. So
that's wild.
Yeah, so that was, and I'm like, I don't know. That's the one part that makes me think it's paranormal and it's following them rather than Sasquatch.
So they called you up there. What kind of issues were they having? Like, I mean, obviously they were scared of something.
Well, the house was built 14 years ago, and they've had activity with all the kids growing up there. The kids are all in their 30s or late 20s or whatever. So they've been living there since, and that's their mountain house, right? It's like I said, it's about 20 minutes away from an Applebee's, but it backs up to hundreds of acres, of forest land. So it's in New York, but it's undisclosed, so I can't give out that information. But so the bottom line is that they had activity and they've had house slaps, but they were just one or two, just like in Snowgrove. It wasn't this barrage of fists. And the sad part is I know that the barrage of fists didn't happen because the Zoom recorder would have picked it up. So it only happened in my brain. But
wait a minute. Did you feel the vibration?
Yeah. I mean, it woke me. I have a CPAP. I sleep with a little white noise generator on my face, and I sleep through atomic blasts. And this thing shook me out of bed.
Do you think if you're let's for giggles, if you were just dreaming something like that and you were awake, it woke you up. But you, with the audible sounds, you knew that kind of where they were on the wall.
Right.
Then you feeling the vibration with your body. I would think that would be out, not inside your head, right? Wouldn't that make sense?
Well, here's the thing, right? It lasted so long, for 15 seconds, that I was able to get out of bed, grab my phone, position myself between the two beds, fully conscious, and it was still going, right? And I was wide awake I should have hit record on my phone. Didn't even think about that. But
that's y'all. I'm telling you, when you're in a stressful situation, I don't care if it's Bigfoot or what. I fell out here one day. This house was built in 71. I've got concrete steps. I was walking out one morning and those concrete steps collapsed. I fell and hurt my rib. I couldn't dial my phone for 10, 15 minutes. I couldn't even think what numbers or names, or I was in so much pain. And so I was scared I might have punctured a lung. I'm just saying it was a stressful situation.
Yeah.
And people want you to take pictures and videos and turn on a recorder. That ain't happening.
Yeah. Luckily I had a recorder out. Unluckily it didn't capture anything. So now I'm in a weird voodoo land.
Well, that's information too. I mean, it obviously was working.
Yep. Yeah.
So
and the file was complete. And I time-stamped it, and then I time-stamped it at the end, and I matched up the length, and the length was exactly the right timestamps. So I did all that work, and it all was perfect. And the recording just didn't show it. Now, what's interesting is I sent that recording off to Chris, and he said, I listened to where you said where the beating happened. And he goes, I can hear them walking through the woods right before that. So he can hear them bipedal coming down, but he can't, and there was some damage on the siding, but I did look around the next morning and the grass wasn't disturbed or matted down, and, but I'm just like, wow. So there's a little bit of physical evidence, but, I didn't take pictures of the house before when I first got there.
Right.
So I don't know if it happened like weeks ago or years earlier, or if it happened that night. So.
And did you say how high up it was?
Very high up. Yeah. It was about almost 15 feet up. Yeah. Yeah. It was way up there. Cause when I did my initial search, I looked at 8 to 10, 15, 8 to 12 feet. I didn't see any damage. It was the last day when I was actually putting cameras way out in the field. I was actually coming back to the house and I could see the whole house, from afar. And I noticed something up towards the top. And as I got closer, I realized that was the damage. Like, yeah, and it was way up there. So,
wow.
Yeah, weird stuff.
Bama, you have any more questions before we go? We could talk to Adam for
days. Man. Not really. I thought it was great. I really appreciated him, bringing all the video stuff. I wish we could have got some of the audio up, but man, that just made it that much better.
The only way I know how to do that is get a file, like emailed or whatever, and then upload it. But I've done that before, but but that's the thing. You don't, unless you trust somebody, you don't want to spread it around. I totally understand that.
Yeah. So,
but Adam, thank you. It was nice meeting you. And if you get down this way again,
definitely.
holler at me in Bama for sure.
Next year, I should come down again next year. This year's all booked up, but I'll try to make it down next year for sure.
Man, you need to come down sometime when it's a lot. Don't come down like when it's now. I mean, this humidity's. This humidity will kill you.
Winter up here sucks. I should come down there during the winter, shouldn't I?
Seriously, I love winter camping. Me and Kel love winter camping. And
your winter camping is my summer camping. So
I tell people, I go, man, my birthday's in cold weather. You can come down and go camping with me.
Well, the best part about the colder air or whatever is you don't have to worry about snakes. That frees you up a little bit.
That's a big thing. Snakes and mosquitoes, man. I got a heater buddy in my tent, man. I ain't gonna get cold at night.
Yeah. So hey man, for real, it's nice meeting you. And
you guys are awesome. Thank you for having me on. It was so much fun.
And it's fun to it's fun to have experiences, even if nothing happened. When we can say, Adam Colt and Chris Reinhardt and Greg Howes and me and Heather and
Bud and Angie and
Bud and Angie, it's just
Patrick.
it's fun. And yeah, when you got down there, you met almost the whole crew. So
Yeah.
And they welcomed you in, didn't they? I mean, it's like,
I mean, it was like, it was like coming home. It was great.
Yeah. So, and the story at Flat Rocks, we might get into next time. I think Angie
has a better story because the guys stayed back. The girls, I mean, there was physical contact and all sorts of stuff going on.
Yeah, thermal. She saw something on thermal like 20 feet away when everybody passed. It's like they were going to investigate, right? If I remember correctly. And she's back with the thermal, and they walk past this thing in the dark and never know it's there.
Yep.
So that's a good story for later too.
Yeah. That one's not my story. I'll let her tell
I know.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
all right, guys.
Thank y'all. And next time, don't call Doug, because Doug has a way of talking you into dangerous situations.
So true.
Like, oh, you got to do this now. You're like, no. And next thing you know, you're standing out there in your underwear with Bigfoot trying to get
exactly. And Doug's laughing all the way. He's like,
yeah. Guess what I told Adam to do? But all right. Thank you, Bama. I appreciate you, buddy.
Hey, once again, thanks to everybody in the chat. It's like our family, and I love all the people in our chat. So I'm sitting here reading everything, but I want to respond at the end. I love y'all. So I'll see you on the next one.
Yep. All right. I'm going to kick out of here, and y'all have a good weekend, safe weekend. And maybe one of these days we'll figure out what the deal is with the electronics.
Yep.
That's a big question.
Big question.
All right. See y'all.
Down in the pines where the water runs black, where the moss hangs low and the night leans back. The stories whisper about a shadow tall, big feet moving where the moonlight falls. Some say it be, some say it ghost in the trees. Some say trouble blowing in with the breeze. But around here, man, we know the call, or we just call them friends of Squatchin Holler. So light that fire, let the cattail shake, hear the night birds cry and the copperheads wake. If you hear a howl in the Georgia fall, there ain't no wind and it ain't no dawn. When the creek runs cold and the shadows get taller, yeah, you cross a line in a Squatchin Holler where the legends walk and the brave men falter. Better mind your step in that Squatchin Holler. Tell me stories about a thing he saw, stood 10 foot high with a timber jaw. Red eyes burning like a summer cold, a left track's big enough to swallow your soul. But the old folks laugh, say don't you fear, critters been living here for hundreds of years. Treat them with respect when the moon gets smaller, and they'll let you live in Squatchin Holler. So light that fire, let the swamp drum roll. You can hear that right down in your soul. If you hear a grunt from the river fog, it ain't no bullfrog barking at all. When the swamp runs still and the crickets get softer, you're not alone in that Squatchin Holler where the brave think twice and the fools won't fall. But Lord, keep watch on that Squatchin Holler. Some say he guards at old Pine Ridge, some say he walks walks from bridge to bridge. But one thing's sure, when the night comes down, something big still calls this ground. So bank that fire, let the night get deep, let the willows whisper while the kudzu creeps. If you catch a glimpse through the midnight holler, just nod your head, don't